afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to our MIT Minute Training Mentoring session. Live at 5. We are live. Coming to you once again. And we are here today on Tuesday. We're here to discuss the values of mentorship and in recovery. The value of mentorship in recovery. And this article is brought to you by the great people, or the good people at ranchatdogtree.com. So if you ever want to look, read some of these articles, you can go online, you can get them for yourself, save them. But tonight, we're going to be talking about the value of mentorship and recovery. And so we're going to discuss what it is, what we're doing here at the MIT Managed Training Mentoring. So there's 3 objectives, and one of them is leadership, the other one is role model, and the third one is empowerment. And so I thought it was a great idea. We think it's a great idea that people in recovery take on the role or the form of a mentor, or find someone to mentor you in your process. And so tonight we're going to talk about the value of mentorship and recovery. And so I want to start off and read a topic, or a subject. It says, a mentor is someone you can look to for guidance and support. A mentor is someone you can look to for guidance and support. All right, let's see what the article says. A mentor can also be a person facing the same battles you're facing and doing well in the process. They're not perfect people. Mentors not perfect people. We all know that there's no one perfect, but one. And so it's very important to know that because you hear the word mentor, you don't have to have a doctorate degree. You don't have to have a associate's degree. You don't have to have a high school diploma. You just have to have be a person of value. All right. And so it says mentorship is valuable within the addiction recovery process because it provides an opportunity to learn from those who have walked your path. Yet mentors shouldn't be seen as responsible for your relapse or success. Let me read that again, because I believe that's very important, because a lot of people get shook, a lot of people be afraid, when you hear the word mentor, and they think, this grandiose idea of a mentorship. But the article states, yet mentors shouldn't be seen as responsible for your relapse or success. All right. So what is the purpose of having a mentor in addiction recovery? All right, let's talk about it. Consider for a moment what having a professional mentor in your career would offer to you. They can guide you in making decisions about positions, education, and even life choices that impact your career path. In addiction, your mentor goes further. In addiction, your mentor goes further. They can offer support for recovery-related concerns, also help you with day-to-day struggles that extend beyond your substance abuse problem. My name is Craig. I'm a recovery coach, but I'm also in recovery. I am someone who have experience in the past with mainly alcohol and drugs, but more so drugs than alcohol. But I don't like to exclude one for the other, because That way, you're saying that you leave a room, or you're saying that one is more significant and one is less, one is insignificant than the other. So I want to put both of them together. And so I want to share that with you because I'm just like anyone else that have experienced substance use disorders and who has gone through the process of therapeutic community or treatment, residential treatment, intensive outpatient, who has gone through the process of being in sobriety and who's working on achieving a whole host of things without the use of substance use as being a crutch. All right? And so the article says many times mentors operate as the go-to for any type of struggle you are having during recovery. The goal is to have someone to talk to when you are facing difficulty. So it's always very important if you have someone who has experienced some of the experiences or similar experiences that you may have, and who may have some ins and outs of how to handle or tackle a given situation. Not saying that a mentor have all the answers. No, not saying that at all. Earlier today, we went over coping skills. We talked about coping skills in our hybrid session of Coffee and Conversation. And coping skills is very important. It helps you to navigate. It helps you to deal with a lot of negative, unhealthy behaviors. All right. And so by having someone who listens, you may be able to work through your problem more fully, potentially avoiding the risk of drug or alcohol relapse. As a result, then, the purpose of having a mentor shouldn't just be to be able to stay sober. Rather, your mentor can help you with your mental health, relationships, spiritual health, and job. This is the type of person you can turn to for advice about decisions you have to make, or count on to answer the phone at 3 a.m. when you are having a hard time. And so you see the article says you can call, hopefully you'll be able to call a mentor for advice, to encourage you and to give you some instruction, not a counsel, not someone with all the answers, as to say that they have all these degrees from a professional standpoint, but someone who can give you advice when it comes to, the article says, jobs, relationships, or spiritual health. And so that's very important as well. And so it's not always just one person. Take that into account. The article says it's not just all one person. And so there's many people in many different positions in life that can assist us as a mentor and as someone who's in recovery. All right. So while it would be convenient to have one person to put on speed dial for every question or concern you have throughout the day, mentors have their own lives to live. All right. That's why it may be beneficial to have more than mentor. For example, you may have a religious professional you can count on for moral questions. You may have another mentor who can offer guidance on breaking off bad relationships. One you can count on for moral questions. The other one you can go to for guidance on breaking off of bad relationships. So there are many forms of mentors. And so that's what we're doing here at this MIT Men in Training. We're trying to get many brothers, many men as we can here, whether it be virtually or hybrid, to our meetings at 5 o'clock. It's not an all-day process, but we just want to get down to the meat and potatoes of what it takes to be stand-up men, not only within our own personal lives, but also within our homes, within our communities, and so that we can make a difference. All right? It said, don't focus on just having one person to solve your problems. Instead, build a network of people you can rely on to support you as you make decisions. All right? So don't just count on one person. Don't just say, well, Craig got all the answers. Craig don't have all the answers. What happens when you have a mentor? Let's talk about it. Let's find out what happens. Here's a situation that could happen to you. After leaving rehab, you start a job. Move in with a family member and begin building back your life. All right? But someone from your past continues to try to contact you. You know that contact with this person would not be healthy for you, but you don't know what to do next. All right? So you may just coming home, the article says just coming home from rehab. Move back into the house, family member, you're trying to rebuild, get the job, and here come an old person that from the past constantly contacting you, and you know they may bring some luck, some baggage that you may don't want to entertain. And so therefore, you may have to reach out to a mentor if you're not strong enough to say, hey, man, or hey, whoever it be, whether it be a male or female, and say, hey, listen, I'm not about that lifestyle no more. I'm moving forward to bigger and better things. If you want to go where I'm going, then I suggest that you leave the old behaviors alone as well. All right. And so maybe a mentor can give you some advice or some guidance on how to handle that situation. It says your mentor can listen to what is happening and help you to see the picture a bit clearer. They can point out a life experience of their own that may be similar to your situation. Maybe they can give you advice, or maybe they can just listen and encourage you to follow your instincts. You can call on your mentor for help when you feel withdrawal pain, or when you just want to know if it's okay to quit that job or break off that toxic relationship. All right. So you can go to a mentorship with several different issues, and then how to put them all on one person. You may have 3 or 4 mentors. You may just have 2. That's all right. But try to be flexible in your decision making. All right. And it said research indicates that there are benefits of using a mentor and peer support groups. A study published by the U.S. or United States National Institute of Health showed that peer support like this helps individuals with addiction to avoid use, engage more thoroughly in treatment, and minimize risky behavior. All right? It says, all right, so it says, let's find out what the article is talking about next. It says, your mentor can't solve your addiction. That is so true. You know, we often tell people, we often run into people when we ask them, how can we help you with your recovery, and what does your recovery look like to you? And so we expect them to give us the answer of how can we help empower them, and how can we further proceed with recovery. And so a lot of times it's very important to find out if the person are in that stage of change. And so once they enter that stage of change, then we can move forward and better serve the individual. All right. It says your mentor can't solve your addiction. Mentorship is an excellent supportive tool during the recovery process, but it should not be seen as a solution to your addiction. Let me read that again. Mentorship is an excellent supportive tool during the recovery process, but it should not be seen as a resolution to your addiction. Your mentor isn't responsible for your success or failure. And so if anyone tries to say that, that they want to take up all the credit, you let them know that, they're not responsible for your success or your relapse. but they can assist you along the way of recovery. So it says, more so, a mentor cannot provide you with solutions every time you need help. They shouldn't give you money or bail you out. And so we have a thing here, well, as I learned in this field, as an ethical reason, we don't give out gifts and we don't receive gifts. And so as a mentor, there's boundaries that we have to set in place. And so, and it's good that we set boundaries because we don't want to show favoritism from one person to the next. We want to keep it on even playing field that we know each person position from a respectful point of view. All right. It said rather they should listen to you and offer you advice from their own experience. And last one we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about is how can you find a mentor like this? All right. And it says look within your network first. Right. It says avoid anyone that has a history within your past life of drug addiction. So article clearly states that you can find someone within your network, but however, avoid anyone that has a history within your past life of drug addiction. All right, because a lot of times, I believe the reason they made that statement clearly is that a lot of times we oftentimes, not to say that we glorify addiction, but a lot of times we get into old memories and we may stroll down memory lane. And if we're not careful, we might get stuck, lost in the same old behaviors. All right. Instead, look towards those who were a part of your addiction treatment and rehabilitation. Look towards your 12-step program group and other support groups. Choose someone that you respect and feel confident talking to on a routine basis. All right? And so find someone within your 12-step, someone you respect or someone that you admire. You admire, when I say admire someone, I mean someone who's is a stand-up individual, someone that you could look at and say, here's a person who has leadership qualities. Here's a person has a role model qualities or capability, and here's someone that has empowerment potential. And so you could look at all those three objectives that I explained to you earlier about MIT. And if you find that in someone, try to find out if they are willing to assist you along your journey. Sometimes family and friends can help. Other times, religious professionals, school counselors, support group peers, or therapists you create a bond with can help you. Work with your treatment center for additional support and finding a mentor. All right. It says when you have a relationship with a mentor, you will grow in strength and determination. As you work towards growing your own success, you can become a mentor yourself, giving back to those who are in need within your local area. And so it's very important once you have obtained and gained some momentum from a mentor, and you no longer, I believe you will always be a mentee. But once you learn some great values, because this article is talking about the value of mentorship and recovery. Once you learn some great value, I like to say great values, morals, principles, things that you can incorporate in your lifestyle. Not to say that you don't have all three, but if you have, if someone can display some in-depth values, principles and morals that you may not have come across or may not have developed at this present given time, whatever state or phase that you are in. Currently, take hold of those values, principles, morals, and pass it on. Give it to someone else. Help someone along the way. It says each one reach one, each one teach one. And so, with that said, thank you for joining us for our MIT Men in Training. And tonight we talked about the values of mentorship and recovery. And so, just give you a snap overview of what we talked about. First, we talked about the value of mentorship and recovery. Then we went on to talk about a mentor as someone you can look to for guidance and support. Then we went on to discuss what is the purpose of having a mentor in addiction recovery, right? And we went on further to address it's not always just one person, right? And then it says, what happens when you have a mentor? We went and discuss about what happens when you have a mentor. What change will take place? How can you come to them and expect advice? Not only advice but also guidance in a given situation. And we went on to say your mentor can't solve your addiction. A mentor it's not a superhero. They are not there to solve your addiction, but they are there to encourage you or help you with or help you navigate through some areas of your life of recovery or sobriety, because maybe they probably have experienced that themselves. All right, and say, how can you find a mentor like this? We talked about that, and that was the last of the values of a mentorship, the value of mentorship and recovery. So it's very important. Don't allow that word mentor or mentorship to deter you from not being a part of what we're trying to do here, what we're doing here, this hybrid meeting, because we're talking about mentorship. And so it's very important as men. Let me stress the point. It's very important as men that we be an example for other young men who may be in our communities. Communities can be in our church, it can be in our schools, it can be in our neighborhood. And so there's a host of communities that need men. Now, we're not just talking about one ethnic group of men. We talk about diversity. We talk about all men take their rightful roles in our community, to stand up for what's right, and to help somebody along the way. It's not a hard job, when we all put our heads together and we begin to have open, honest discussion, what it looked like to be men who've taken on the role as leaders, role models, and those who have the capability to empower each other. And so with that said, my name is Craig. I am a recovery coach here at Capital Recovery Center. You're more than welcome to come here at 72 North Pearl Street. If you can't make it physically, always tune in at 5 o'clock for Men in Training, or just call the office if you want to talk one-on-one. I'm available. You can call this number 856-391-7449. All right, everyone, y'all have a blessed day. Thank you.